In the vibrant heart of Kumkala town, a busy settlement in East Africa where motorbikes coughed dust into the air and traders shouted prices louder than church choirs, lived a woman named Mama Wambo. Every day before dawn, when the world was still wrapped in darkness and only roosters dared to speak, Mama Wambo woke up. Her knees cracked, her wrists trembled, but she never missed a single morning. She tied her faded kitenge cloth around her waist and lifted her woven basket and walked to the town square to sell roasted maize, boiled beans, and groundnut snacks. Her palms were hardened like old leather. Her shoulders had carried loads heavier than some men's pride. Her voice had weakened from years of bargaining with customers who always wanted cheaper prices. But if you ever asked Mama Wambo why she worked so much, she always answered the same way. I am building a ladder for my daughter. One day, she will climb higher than me. Her daughter was Zawadi, a girl with big bright eyes and a mind that swallowed knowledge like hungry fire. Zawadi loved books more than toys. She loved learning more than playing, and Mama Wambo loved her more than her own breath. Every morning, Mama Wambo prepared porridge for Zawadi, combed her hair gently, placed transport fare into her small hands, and whispered, "My child, read until your future shines." Years passed. Zawadi became the star of her school. Teachers praised her intelligence. Neighbors admired her determination. On nights when the electricity disappeared, sometimes for a whole week, Zawadi studied by candlelight. Even when they ran out of food, Mama Wambo lied. "Eat, my child. I already ate at the market." But she had not eaten. She often went to sleep on an empty stomach, praying that her daughter would one day stand in places she herself had never stepped into. Zawadi saw everything: her mother's cracked hands, her torn slippers, her tired eyes, and she made a vow deep inside her heart. One day, Mama will rest. One day, I will repay every sacrifice. 20 years swept by. Zawadi was no longer the skinny girl with dusty shoes. She had grown into Dr. Zawadi Lengo, one of the finest medical researchers in the entire country. She worked at the East Horizon Medical Institute, a prestigious center in the capital city where wealthy families paid enormous amounts for treatment. She now lived in a modern apartment complex with security guards and automatic gates. She drove a shining SUV. She wore tailored suits. She spoke English with the confidence of someone who had walked the corridors of big universities. And Mama Wambo, Zawadi bought her a small, comfortable home in their old community. She paid all the bills. She sent money every month, but she visited less and less and less. Zawadi had changed in ways her mother never expected. In Zawadi's new world, she felt pressure to look perfect, behave refined, and present herself as belonging to the elite. And she feared that her humble roots would make people judge her. She carried shame like a secret bag. She told her colleagues that her mother was a retired social worker. She told her boss that she came from a middle-class family. She told her boyfriend, Dairo, a calm and soft-spoken engineer from a wealthy lineage, that her parents lived abroad. She never mentioned the maize, the roadside stall, or the market dust. She never mentioned the truth. Dairo adored Zawadi. He thought she was phenomenal, smart, elegant, kind, hardworking. One evening at the restaurant, he gently said, "Zawadi, I want to meet your family. It is time I meet the people who raised such a wonderful woman." Zawadi's heart dropped. Her throat tightened. Her words twisted into lies. "Oh, my mother is traveling for a church program. She won't return soon," she said quickly. "That's all right," Daro smiled. "I'm sure she's a remarkable woman." Zawadi smiled back. Inside, she felt like ice was melting painfully under her ribs. She was ashamed of the woman who carried her through life, ashamed of the very foundation she stood on. And she did not know that someone had noticed this weakness. Her name was Dr. Kesa, sharp-tongued, bitter-hearted, known for her intelligence and equally for her envy. She had been at the institute longer than Zawadi, yet Zawadi always got the praise, always got the spotlight, always carried the charm. Kesa believed that nobody deserved so much admiration. Nobody is perfect, she told herself daily. Zawadi must be hiding something, and Kesa searched patiently, quietly, dangerously. She monitored Zawadi's conversations. She listened when Zawadi made phone calls in the hallway. She followed Zawadi's social media posts, and then she found something. One Saturday morning, Kesa drove through the old part of town on her way to visit a cousin. As she passed the familiar street, she saw an elderly woman seated beside a wooden table, selling roasted maize. She wore a very unique patterned headscarf, yellow with swirling green leaves. Kesa had seen it before. In an old photograph Zawadi kept tucked behind books in her office drawer. A photo Kesa had snooped through when no one was around. Her pulse started racing. She parked her car and approached the old woman. "Good afternoon, Mama," she said politely. "Please, do you know where Kitale Road is?" "Ah, my daughter," the woman replied, smiling kindly. "You passed it. Go back and turn near the old mango tree." "Thank you, Mama," Kesa said sweetly. "By the way, you look familiar. Do you perhaps have a daughter who is a doctor?" Mama Womo's face brightened like sunrise. "Yes, my Zawadi, Dr. Lengo. Do you know her?" Kesa smiled with wicked delight. "Oh, I know her very well. We work together." Mama Wombo's chest swelled with pride. "My daughter is doing well. I prayed for this every day. I sold maize for years to pay her school fees. God is good." Kesa could barely hide her excitement. This was Zawadi's secret. "Does Zawadi visit you often?" Kesa asked. The old woman's smile faded slightly. "She says she's busy at work, but she calls sometimes." Kesa almost laughed. Zawadi's shame was deeper than she thought. "Thank you, Mama," she said. "I will greet Zawadi for you." And she left, her mind calculating her revenge. 2 weeks later, the institute was preparing for a grand ceremony, the 40-year anniversary celebration. Important government officials, foreign guests, the media, and wealthy donors would attend. Dairo had told Zawadi he was proud of her. The hospital director planned to honor Zawadi. Everything in her life seemed perfect. Kesa saw an opportunity, a ruthless one. She visited Mama Wambo again. "Mama, we want to honor your daughter during our celebration," Kesa said with a smile that masked venom. "We want you there as a surprise." "An award?" Mama gasped. "Okay, yes, Mama. Please don't tell her. Let it be a shock." "I will be there," Mama whispered tearfully. She spent the week preparing. She washed her best kitenge cloth. She borrowed shoes from a neighbor. She even braided her hair at the local salon. She wanted to look presentable for her daughter's big day, but she had no idea that the surprise was a trap. The night of the celebration arrived. The hall sparkled. Golden drips, crystal lights, violins playing softly. The air smelt of wine and expensive perfume. Journalists carried cameras around. Guests dressed like royalty. Zawadi arrived in a stunning gown. Her hair flowed down her back. Her face glowed with elegance. Dairo held her arm proudly. "You look breathtaking," he whispered. Zawadi smiled, grateful yet anxious. She wanted the night to be perfect. Kesa watched from afar, her lips curved in silent mischief. At exactly 7:52 p.m., her phone buzzed. "I'm at the gates, Mama Wembo." Kesa stood, excused herself from a group, and slipped outside. She found Mama Wembo waiting near the gate, nervous but excited. She wore her bright yellow and green kitenge. Her borrowed shoes were worn out, but her eyes shone with love. "Mama, please follow me," Kesa said. She led her through the whole entrance. The music played, conversations flowed, guests laughed. But the moment Mama Wambo stepped inside, her breath caught. She had never seen such a place. "There she is," Kesa whispered, pointing at Zawadi across the hall. "Go to her, congratulate her." Mama beamed and walked forward. Then she called out, loud, strong, proud, "Zawadi, my daughter." The entire hall
fell quiet at once. Zawadi turned. Her soul froze. Her heart thudded painfully. Her fingers trembled. She felt the world spinning. Mama Wambo pushed through the crowd, tears in her eyes. "My daughter, they told me you are receiving an award. I came to surprise you." Zawadi stepped back. Her mother stopped mid-step. Dairo frowned. "Zawadi, who is this woman?" Silence. Zawadi's lips quivered. Her throat closed. Words refused to come out. "I'm her mother," Mama Wambo said, turning to Dairo. "I am Zawadi's mother. I sold maize at Kumkala market for many years to educate my daughter."
Gasps filled the room. Whispers rose like buzzing bees. So she lied. She pretended to be from a rich family. She hid her own mother. Cameras turned towards Zawadi. Lights flashed. People stared. Judgment filled the air. Zawadi wanted to disappear. Dairo looked heartbroken. "Kumkala market," he whispered. "Zawadi, you told me your mother was abroad. You lied." Mama Wambo's smile slowly collapsed. She looked at her daughter with pain sharp enough to wound the strongest heart. "You are ashamed of me, Zawadi." Zawadi said nothing, not because she didn't want to, but because shame had tied her tongue. Mama's voice cracked. "I walked in the dust and sun so you could stand here. I slept hungry so you could study. I wore torn clothes so you could have books. And today, you cannot even call me your mother?" Zawadi's tears spilled. Mama removed her kitenge cloth, the best thing she owned, and held it out to her daughter. "If my clothes embarrass you, take them. If my life embarrasses you, pretend I don't exist. But remember, I loved you with every breath." The hall went quiet. Even wealthy guests wiped tears. Something broke inside Zawadi's heart. The shame that had haunted her crumbled like old stone. She fell to her knees before her mother. "Mama, I'm sorry," she sobbed. "Forgive me. I forgot who I was. I forgot where I came from. I forgot the woman who gave me everything." She held her mother's hands and kissed them. "These hands fed me. These hands paid my school fees. These hands held me when I cried. Mama, these hands are more precious than diamonds." Mama lifted her daughter, crying softly. "My child, I forgave you long before today."
Zawadi turned to the crowd, still holding her mother's hand. "This is my mother, the greatest woman I know. She is my success story. She is my foundation. Without her, I am nothing." People began clapping, not politely, but powerfully. The hospital director stepped forward. "Dr. Lengo," he said, "you have shown true character tonight. Because of this moment, I am announcing not only your promotion, but also the establishment of a scholarship in your mother's name, the Wambo Fund for Girls from Low-Income Families." The hall erupted in applause again, louder, warmer, almost shaking the walls. Some people stood, others wiped tears. For a moment, Zawadi could barely breathe. Her mother, the woman who once sold roasted maize by the roadside, had just become the unexpected hero of the night. Dairo slowly approached the stage. His footsteps echoed in the silent pockets between the claps. Zawadi's heart pounded. She braced herself, fearing he might walk away from her. Now that her truth was exposed, she lowered her eyes, ashamed, unsure. But Dairo stopped directly in front of Mama Wambo. He took a breath, then smiled. "Ma," he said softly, voice trembling with emotion, "I would be honored to have you as my mother-in-law." Mama gasped. Her hands flew to her chest. Then she laughed and cried at the same time, the way only a relieved mother can. "You still want my daughter?" she whispered, almost unbelieving. Dairo nodded firmly. "If you raised her with maize money and love, then you are not just anybody. You are extraordinary." The hall erupted again. Cheers, whistles, joyful ululations filling the air. Mama Wambo hugged him tightly, as if she had just gained a son she never imagined she would have. 3 months later, Zawadi and Dairo had one of the most beautiful weddings Kumkala town had ever seen. It wasn't grand because of money. It was grand because of love. Colorful African fabrics decorated the venue. The sun shone brightly as if giving them its blessing. Mama Wambo wore a radiant Ankara dress, sewn by a local tailor who proudly refused payment. Traders from Kumkala market closed their shops early to attend. The butcher brought meat,
The fruit sellers carried baskets of mangoes and oranges, and the women from the fish stands sung traditional songs as they came.
Drummers beat their drums until their hands ached. Children danced. Elders prayed. Joy overflowed like a river in rainy season. After the wedding, Zawadi never forgot the woman who shaped her life. Every week, without fail, she visited Mama. They cooked together, ugali, greens, beans, or whatever Mama felt like making. They talked late into the evening, laughing at old stories, sharing quiet moments under the mango tree, or simply sitting side by side while the village breeze brushed past them. And everywhere Zawadi went, meetings, ceremonies, interviews, she introduced her mother with pride glowing in her eyes. Meet my mother, the woman who built my future with her bare hands. And each time she said it, Mama Wambo's heart swelled, knowing her struggles, sacrifices, and silent pains had blossomed into something beautiful.